A podcaster and a music producer were held in question by police following gunfire at a carnival party. A simmering beef over comments made about a DJ's music, apparently what led to the incident.
Gunshots at Carnival after party, Big Wall the event, 3 people hit by bullets, among them podcaster Jay Frey and a bystander here from the US for Carnival. The police earlier this week were still trying to establish a timeline, but the incident reportedly stemming from an altercation between Frey and the entourage of DJ 450 that also included his manager, music producer Javi, who has retained the services of high-profile attorney at law Peter Champagne. Jay Frey lining up Isat Buchanan. Frey, who was shot in the leg, was treated at hospital before being detained by the police. Javi was also taken into custody. The visitor, Jeremy Watson, said he'd been traumatized by the shooting and criticized safety and emergency response protocols at the event. ER spoke to attorney at law Bert Samuels Wednesday about the incident. What are the key questions you would be asking as police investigations continue?
Several questions. How did they get in in the first instance? Did they have metal detectors to detect that? Because once there's a large gathering, then the firearm users, be it licensed or not, should be checked for public safety reasons.
At least 2 firearms may have been involved. If one of those firearms was unlicensed, how serious is that potentially for the holder of the gun?
Well, once the firearm is unlicensed, then you are in illegal possession of firearm. It means, therefore, that even to have it on your body, not being used, 15 years imprisonment. And if you take it out and even point it at another person, you're in the 20-year region for sentencing. If you discharge it, it can go up to 25. And if it kills someone, that's murder, eh?
Does it remind you of a particular case that you may have argued in the past?
Yes, because some persons are of the view that if the firearm is illegal, then you can't use it. Well, in a situation where I'm being attacked with a hatchet, for example, as did my client, and I reach for an illegal firearm and use it to protect my life, because I'm relying on self-defense to protect my life, then the use of the illegal firearm becomes immaterial and I can be acquitted in court.
Try kill me, dog. I them try kill me.
Back to what you said earlier, are there possible ramifications for the promoters?
Well, there's always the law of, being responsible for something that you could have contemplated. If you're hosting a huge event, then it must be in your contemplation that if injuries take place, you must have in place protection of an ambulance fully equipped so that persons can be taken out. So in the civil arena, not criminal, there may be liability.
What has to change where we know we have beef culture in the music industry?
Yes.
So when you have events like this, how can we minimize occurrences like this?
Well, firstly, the promoters, the artists have to control their entourage. Because a lot of times the entourage is moving ahead of the person who they are protecting. It's the male ego coming out of all of this. Most times it's men. And therefore what's coming out is people need to control themselves. If your firearm is licensed, it becomes illegal once you use it without justification.
A visitor was shot, but one of the principals in this confrontation is treated for an injury at hospital. Then he is held by the police overnight. Does that strike you as odd?
No, because based on statements that would have been given, you could find that the police were justified to say that he had his reasonable suspicion that an offense was committed. So you're arrested and detained based on reasonable suspicion.
We know that another principal in this confrontation has retained the services of a very high-profile lawyer.
You need to lawyer up once you find yourself in this kind of position. Questions may be posed of you which you innocently answer, but it comes to haunt you at trial. So you have to be very careful. You have a right to an attorney upon arrest.
Given what you know about what went down at the Big Wall after party, how do you see this thing panning out?
Well, license to operate these events are going to become stricter. The police are going to have to be much more careful because everything is going to come down to the police. Will they have enough in place to protect the public? People are sending their children and grandchildren to these events, and they want to be able to rest peacefully when they're out there, young people.
The correlation between the music business and guns and bad man and the need to protect yourself and not taking this from nobody.
Yeah.
What do you think is really at the heart of that?
It's the male ego. And then they come as lambs into your office asking you to beg the judge. So I would say, control your ego. Words don't hurt. Sticks and stones may hurt your bones, but words can do you nothing.
So you tell some of your clients that?
After they've come.
And you've been paid.
Yes. Free advice.
On Friday, Jay Frey, host of the Let's Be Honest and Toxic Talk podcasts, was charged with shooting with intent, wounding with intent, and using a prohibited weapon to commit a felony.